human.
On the Gophers Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, the official sports bar of March Madness. Now, here's the voice of the Gophers, Mike Grimm.
And we're off and running. It's a Tuesday edition of Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. Good crowd here, as always, at Buffalo Wild Wings on campus. Mike Grimm with you, along with, Justin Guard is back after some basketball duties away. Good to see you.
Great to be back.
Yeah.
Great to be back, man.
I don't know how
you
we
missed
managed
me.
without him.
It was a struggle, I thought.
It was
always a struggle with no Guardsy, although I think last week's show was as good as we've ever done. Don't you think?
It was close. It was right
close,
there. Yeah.
He's so new to you. Like I always tell people, you don't have to laugh at Grimm's jokes. Like you're too nice of a guy to give that one a chuckle because he's used it probably, how many years have we worked together? 15?
Yeah, so let's say 4 times a year.
At least. I was going to say
60,
3. Yeah.
60 times.
So, but by year 4, you're not going to laugh at that anymore.
No. There's definitely some
It was pretty well
recycled
delivered,
nature.
though.
Yeah,
It was
there's
good.
definitely recycled nature to my stuff. There's no doubt.
We're used to that noon on KFAN radio, though. Recycled
True,
things.
yes.
Yeah, day after day after day.
13, 14.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it. What a week it was for you guys. A big night on Wednesday. You get a big win over number 10, Michigan State. And then as college sports happened, a little bit of a letdown on Sunday with Maryland, who I thought, given their record and given the way they had been, on a little bit of a losing streak themselves, they played that game hard, tough, took the fight to the Gophers. And so sometimes you got to tip your cap too, as much as you want to, do stuff. But that's what a week. That's college sports, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a heck of a week. Obviously, let down at the end of the week. Didn't make my Sunday as good as I would have liked, and really the next day after too, on Monday. But yeah, it's part of it, and it's part of being in the Big Ten and being in the arena. And yeah, unfortunately, the week ended that way. But it was a heck of a week for our guys. Obviously, the game on Wednesday was unbelievable.
So let's talk Wednesday first, and we'll work forward. I was listening on the way to the airport, Grimmer, like I was listening to you guys. You were on fire per usual. So why was Wednesday different? You've obviously had so many close games, and I did the TV show, and you talked about halftime. You were telling the guys, it's different tonight. We're going to figure it out tonight. We're going to finish it tonight. So what led to that?
Well, I don't know if I believed it, but I wanted them to believe it. I'm kidding, but I don't know. I felt like our guys were they knew what needed to be done. You're playing a group like Michigan State. There's just no choices in the mentality you have to have. And I felt like we had it that night. It was just to let the guys know that, hey, this is going to be different. We're going to find a way to get the job done. Help being up 16.
Right.
With 3 to go, I thought we really outplayed them for the majority of that game, really for almost the entire game. So our guys earned that victory. They just had a great mindset. Everyone that came on the floor did something positive for us, and we just weren't going to be denied.
What's the key to keeping that mindset? I haven't been on for a few weeks, but you've obviously had games that were gut punches, right? A lot of them, probably, maybe more than you've ever had in one single season as a head coach. So to keep coming back, like it obviously says a lot about the guys that you have, but what's the key to continuing to fight, continuing to come back, and then eventually get rewarded?
You just keep talking to them. I think you walk the line, like you said, of showing them that trusting the process and what we're doing is paying off. Look, you're giving yourself a chance to win games in the best league in the country. So, hey, we got to keep building on that, and if you do, eventually it's going to turn your way. It will. And at the same time, helping them like, hey, we've got to find a way then in these situations. We can't be satisfied with being close. And then, like you said, you have high character guys. I think the other thing is you can rely on experience, in the past of being able to maybe help tell them stories or situations that you've seen or been a part of where things have turned. And if they stay with it, good things will happen. And so I think it's a combination of all those, but the guys deserve all the credit. It's very easy to just get discouraged and go the other way, but they've just refused to do that.
When you are recruiting athletes, and it's certainly changed, right, the strategies in terms of how you construct a team, particularly if all of a sudden you're going to become a first-year head coach at a program, and the roster is going to turn over. But that said, as you mentioned, the credit goes to the guys. But there's got to be some point that the coaching can continue to have an impact in terms of keeping guys showing up, keeping guys going, but also finding guys who you think are going to fit the mold that, if the going gets tough, these guys are going to keep going. So in the portal world, how hard is that when you're trying to have to make quick decisions to, if you're recruiting a high school kid, you might know him since he's in 9th grade, and then you watch him and you're like, that's a competitor, that's a guy we want. Portal world, you might watch, 6 games on tape from the year before and have to make a determination because someone else is coming after him too.
It's really difficult. It's one of the hardest things that we have, and I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. We do pretty in-depth personality profiles on these guys. You rely on your network, talking to everybody you know about this person, trying to figure out, we call them externals, the people around this young man and what makes him tick. Are they our type of guy? You try to be really transparent with who you are and how you play and what your expectations are going to be in the program. I think you do all those things. It's still not an exact science, but I said when I got the job, we want guys who love and live hoops, who are highly competitive, obviously really talented, but high character guys who want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And we just try to stay steadfast in that. That works for us, and it's amazing. You find a lot of really talented guys who still have all those qualities. And I think our staff, again, with so much turnover in such a short period of time, taking this job, that's one thing I think we did get right. We got the right kind of guys.
How quickly did you know Langston Reynolds was one of those type of guys?
Well, obviously we had followed him a little bit at Northern Colorado. They were right down the road from us. We had played against them, the year before. So I think their coaches pretty well. Being from Denver, you have an idea of kind of what makes him tick. We thought, athletically, he could really compete in the Big Ten and kind of give us a different kind of player that could be successful. And I think he's really been an X factor for us when he's good and making an impact on both ends of the floor. We've been a different team.
Yeah. And he had a great night against Michigan State. Obviously, when he's guarded by his own position, you have to love that, right? I mean, because he certainly does. And teams, we'll talk about it, have done different things with him throughout the season. But when it's just a guard and a guard, that's a win for the Gophers, it seems like.
He's a tough matchup that way. He's an old school guard. He's big. He's strong. He can post a little bit and he can score down there and get fouled, but he also facilitates really well. He's a versatile defender. And, in that Michigan State game, we had some opportunities to kind of take advantage of a matchup that was really working for us. So he's a guy that the other coaches, you really have to try to game plan for because he's he's a very unique player that way. And sometimes, we're really able to take advantage of that.
And with him too, you think about a guard, I think he's 56% field goal percentage right now.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, for a guard to be over 50, you'd love that. And I think he's like 60% shooting twos, which is incredible, which means he's getting to the rim, he's getting to the basket, taking advantage of some of those things. Even at Penn State, I thought there was a section of that game in the second half where it kind of clicked. He's like, okay, I can take this guy, and he's just going to the rim, going to the rim, going to the rim.
Yeah, sometimes, like you said, you're able to find, within a game, you're kind of adjusting, you're watching the film as the game goes on, paying attention, you're able to find some things that work. And there's been several games this year where that's been a key. Even at, Northwestern, that was a big thing at the end of the game. And, So yeah, he's a difficult match. The other thing I think with Langston, people have been paying attention. He started off the year really struggling from the free throw line, but if people have paid attention here, these last, I don't know what it is, last 8 to 10 games, he's been making free throws.
Yeah, in Big Ten play, I think he's 71%.
So credit to him. He's put in the work and he's really gotten better at the line.
And he's hitting an occasional three, which at some point, that's got to be part of his arsenal, particularly if teams, as Guardsy said, it was the USC treatment a little bit on Sunday where they just sag off, and that can clog some things elsewhere.
Yeah, obviously we're a team that we do a great job, I think, back cutting, do a great job with our spacing and putting pressure. And sometimes, when they do that, it takes away a certain part of our offense at times. But against, Penn State, he made a couple of huge threes in the second half. He made a big one too the other night against Maryland.
Yeah, no doubt. And with that is defensively, he's probably your best defensive player, isn't he? Do you think?
He can be.
Yeah, right.
I think with a lot of players, Langston's such a great kid. I think with a lot of players, you still, and we all do, battle with, man, when it's not going my way offensively or I get frustrated, can I still keep the same level of focus and determination on defense? We've gotten so much better at that. But again, that's a really hard thing for players to do, but we've got to keep doing that. Sometimes it becomes hard to score in the half court, and sometimes it's not your night, the way you're being guarded or just, the way things are going. And can you still maintain that level of focus and tenacity you need?
And my next question is not intended to necessarily take anybody off the hook, but if you had your full roster and he's playing 29 minutes instead of 39 minutes, does that focus change, or can it change, do you think? I know your expectation is whether it's 39 or 40 or 45, they have to be that way, but I don't know. What do you think?
Could.
Maybe.
Guess we'll never know.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
I think we'll never know. But I think it can. I mean, I think, and sometimes too, within a game, you maybe just have a stretch or some things that aren't going your way. And sometimes you're just sitting out for a little bit and just getting a reset, just kind of catching your breath, watching for a few minutes, kind of getting a reset can be really good.
3 home games now, 3 ranked wins, and 3 court rushes. That's a nice habit to get into.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That is really fun. And it's kind of, when you're in it in the moment, it all happens so fast. You win the game, they go kind of down to the wire, and then that happens. You're doing your, TV stuff on the court. It all happens so fast. Sometimes you wish you had more of a time to just kind of soak it all in and enjoy it. But it's really cool for the fans and people, and you hope that the students and the fans who come and they, got to be a part of that, this year, that it's something, you're a freshman in college or you're a sophomore and you went to the games, or you're a fan that went to the games maybe for the first time or just starting to go, or maybe I was somebody who was going, and I maybe wasn't as excited, and now all of a sudden you get to be a part of that. It's like, hey, I can't wait to go back to the barn, and man, I'm going to get my tickets next year too.
Yeah, right.
Do you have an age limit for court storming? Because I've done it as a 43-year-old, and I think I should be well within the gray area.
Yeah,
it's great. I think the first one against Indiana, people were unsure. Then it happened against Iowa, and I think this time it was just free for all. I think everybody was up there. Heck, I think my mom and dad were up there somewhere. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I don't know that there is
their
an
tickets
age limit.
were on the aisle when you grew up, right?
What's that?
Were there tickets on the aisle when you grew up?
Yeah, on the aisle. Yep.
That's easy accessibility. You really have no excuse if you're on the aisle to jump up there.
But I think there were a lot of people. In fact, I think there was a couple of the players' parents say, hey, coach, I even got in it, after the game. So, hey, come one, come all.
Yeah. How about here? Show of hands. Who was on the,
there you go.
Got a lot of people here.
It's radio, it's not TV.
Come one, come all.
I just said a lot of people. It's a play-by-play.
We're very inclusive.
We're
very inclusive when it comes to the court storm.
We'll take everybody.
Yep, absolutely. No doubt about it. All right, let's take a break here. We will preview. It's a weekend trip, and it floats into next week as well. It's the West Coast Swing. Guardsy was just on it with the Gopher women a few weeks ago. We'll actually ask him a little bit about that trip, and we'll talk about Washington and Oregon. That's all straight ahead. The long contested too as well. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's website, says a 10/20/25.
Small but mighty. Tough yet flexible. Bagster bags from WM mix durability with convenience for all kinds of projects. From home cleanups, renovations, and more. Bagster is a dumpster to make disposal easy. You fill it, WM collects it. To learn more, visit thebagster.com or purchase a Bagster at your local retailer. Buy, fill, gone. Bagster by WM.
Visit the University of Minnesota Bookstore, your destination for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it's your one-stop shop for all things Gophers. And when you shop here, you're giving back because every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Stop by our campus location or shop anytime online at bookstores.umn.edu. Go Gophers!
Are you looking for concert or sports tickets? As a local Minnesota company, Ticket King is a company you can trust. They have seats to fit every budget and even offer parking or tailgating passes, and all tickets are guaranteed. Each order is personally attended to by one of our dedicated customer service representatives who are committed to providing you with a courteous, professional, quick, convenient experience. Visit us at TicketKingOnline.com or call us directly at 612-341-4131.
Buffalo Wild Wings has partnered with the Gopher men's basketball team for the Gophers Win You Win promotion this season. After every Gopher men's basketball victory, fans win 6 free wings. The offer is valid at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations throughout Minnesota with a $10 minimum purchase for 2 days following each Gopher win. Fans are also invited to join the Niko Medved Coaches Show on Tuesdays from 12 to 1 at the Buffalo Wild Wings University of Minnesota location. For full details, visit gophersports.com/BWW. Buffalo Wild Wings is a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness.
Imagine getting insider access to your favorite Gopher student athlete. Exclusive events, behind-the-scenes content, and unique experiences that bring you closer than ever. That's what you get as a member of Dinkytown Athletes. With memberships starting at just $10 a month, every membership directly supports Gopher student athletes through NIL opportunities, helping them grow on campus and beyond. Take your fan experience to the next level. Visit DinkytownAthletes.com today.
You depend on CenterPoint Energy to deliver energy for what matters most to you, your neighbors, and throughout the land of 10,000 lakes, so we can all make a better tomorrow. That's why we're investing in the latest technology to reduce emissions, offer rebates on qualifying energy-efficient natural gas equipment, and provide energy-saving programs that help save you money. Look ahead at centerpointenergy.com/futuremn.
Playing the Minnesota Lottery is a great way to add some win to your winter. Because while it's long, winter should be fun. And it's the everyday moments that help us through winter. A hot chocolate waiting when we come inside. An extra set of gloves. A fluffy new winter hat. So win this winter by picking up winter scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery. I'm in. Must be 18 or older to play.
The human heart. It doesn't take days off, or hours, minutes, or seconds for that matter. It just keeps beating in steadfast, unrelenting service to each of us. So when your heart needs medical care, doesn't it deserve the most advanced treatments available, delivered by nationally recognized physicians and surgeons? Show your heart some love. Take it to M Health Fairview. Visit mhealthfairview.org/heartcare to learn more.
No matter how you drive it, there's a Ford for you. On the work site or out in the town, F-Series trucks provide power and toughness when you need it most. It's what makes them the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years. When adventure calls, the Bronco family always answers. That's because they're made for the great outdoors. With a flexible interior, the Ford Explorer adapts towards your needs. Visit your local Northland Ford dealers to find the perfect Ford for you. Plus, a great offer to go along with it. Based on 1977 to 2024 CY industry reported total sales.
Welcome back. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings on this Tuesday. Gophers will play next on Saturday night in Seattle, University of Washington, 9 o'clock Minnesota time. Tip will take air at 8:30 from out there, and then it's next Tuesday at Oregon. Buffalo Wild Wings, by the way, it's your home every week for Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved, noon until 1. It's the University of Minnesota location. Buffalo Wild Wings, a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness. So, the Wednesday night game with Michigan State was one for the record books. And then, as we mentioned, the Sunday game. And I thought Wednesday, part of what you told me in the pregame interview Wednesday, and part of what I saw then on the highlight video, the cinematic review that came up, you were telling your guys you wanted to throw the first punch. And then Gargi referenced the halftime speech. It's our night tonight. I thought at the start of that game Sunday, it might have the table got turned. I thought maybe Maryland came out and maybe tossed the first punch your way.
Oh, I was hoping we would just keep talking about Wednesday.
Well, let's do that. Gargi, you got more? Yeah,
I've got plenty more on Wednesday.
Just would kind of not talk about Sunday.
Just go over. Yeah.
I think that's fair. I mean, and it's funny as a coach. I knew I knew Maryland would come out that way. I knew they would. I know Buzz. I know their team. They've got talent. We haven't found a way to win, but they were going to come out there tough, aggressive. You're always worried about, is there going to be a little bit of an emotional letdown? Sometimes that happens, just naturally. Nobody is at this emotional peak every game, even the best teams in the country. But still, when you don't maybe have it to start, can you find a way to get it going and get over the hump? But ultimately, I just didn't think we could overcome that kind of just sort of, not awful, but just flat kind of emotional start. And then they got going. We were in for a dogfight. I thought the end of the first half really hurt us. We're up 7 with 1:20 to go in the first half. Really ended the first half poorly. And we go in right
6
there.
in a row,
Yeah, in a close game. I thought that stretch was just unfortunate. And then ultimately at the end of the game, we were right there, and they made some tough shots, and we missed free throw, missed a bunny, and we kind of deserve what we got.
Yeah, it was, with all that said, you were up 4 with like 3-ish minutes to go, and then they, as you said, they hit some shots, and they take the lead, and there's around, was it 20-ish seconds left, and you went into offense. I think that's generally, you've mentioned before, that you don't want to necessarily take a timeout there. You end up with a 2-foot shot, so there's not a lot to complain about. I don't know what better you could do, but take me back to that in terms of what your thinking there was too.
That's a tough one. Typically in that situation, I might call a timeout. I think with the way it was a unique game, they had been the first team all year, and they hadn't done this all year, that they guarded some players a certain way, but then they switched every on-ball and off-ball screen 1 through 5, which, again, they had never shown on film or done, and it was kind of tricky, and they were changing defenses, and I felt like, okay, if I call a timeout with 20 seconds to go, the odds are he could throw out anything defensively, and then even what I have called may not, does that make sense? Sure. May not work. So I'm like, okay, I feel like maybe our best chance to get something good is just to play. We know they're in man-to-man. We're attacking. And, Jalen Crocker-Johnson got the ball right to the front of the rim and just missed a bunny.
It's sitting right there to drop in, and it dropped out. Yeah.
So the odds are, if I called a timeout with the way the game was going, probably wouldn't have gotten that good of a look.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What better look can you get, really?
So as that game's going on, you kind of mentioned, coaches always, are thinking ahead of going, all right, I know it's going to be close. I know there might be a letdown. I know they're coming in here. As that's all developing, you just kind of talked us through some of the levers you're thinking about. As you're navigating the game, what are you thinking of? Okay, how do I get this guy going, or how do I get the team going, or what can I do to switch this up? So I'm sure it's nonstop to try to switch the energy a little bit.
Yeah, just trying to do that, trying to get somebody to give you some energy with a play. Maybe it's an offensive rebound, a loose ball, an and one, making a great defensive stand. You name it. Then it's also you've been in so many of these games as a coach. You're like, okay, and again, I knew it was going to be a close. They all are. Look at our team.
Right, yeah.
Every game's going to be close. That's what it is. We're not going to go out there and just beat them. That's not the way we're wired right now. And so, just trying to get the guys to embrace the kind of game it's going to be, and let's go. And so there were stretches where we played better, but it just wasn't good enough. And our team, we cannot overcome that. And obviously we're so thin too on the bench that it's hard to overcome, maybe some guys not having their best night.
A guy who did have his best, or one of his best nights, mashing a career high, was Isaac Osman. He hit the 3, in fact, late to put you guys up 4 with, I think it was around the 4-minute mark, and 6 made threes. It was good to see the ball go through the basket for him.
Yeah. Again, if you would have told me before the game we would make 14 threes, I would have felt pretty good about
second
us.
Most of the year.
And some of that was how they were guarding us. Those were kind of the shots that were available, but we did knock them down. Really, he kept us in the game in the first half because we were really kind of flat, and he kept us in the game. And no, it was great to see the ball go in. I think he puts in a lot of work. I think he's been shooting it well in practice, and so I think his confidence, just continues to grow.
As you watch him develop, he's just in his second year, but I think sometimes people think that he's older than he is because we've been hearing about him, this kid from Cherry, Minnesota, since he was like, a 10th grader or what have you. How do you project now and evaluate what he can be here as this year, not just this year moves forward, but, junior year, senior year, those kind of things?
Oh, I mean, it's exactly what you think. First of all, he's an unbelievable young man. He's just so great to be around. He exemplifies everything character-wise. You want. I think he really wants to be at Minnesota. He works his tail off. You can count on that every day. He's got a lot of good physical skills. He can shoot the ball. I think now for him, the next step is learning how to manage games. And learning how to make decisions. He's this young man. He wants to do everything right. Sometimes you got to operate in the gray area too. You have something called or something you want to do. Well, the defense plays it a certain way. You just got to be able to read and react. And I think too, sometimes he's a little too nice. Sometimes he's got to get a little bit, nastier that way. But I think he's got such a bright future. This year is going to be so good for him. He's getting better and better. He's playing all these minutes. He's got a lot on his shoulder. He's had some success in really big games, for us this year. And you also have to go through sometimes where you don't play well in big games. And having both those things happen is really critical to your growth. And he's going to have a great off season. And I just feel really, really good about his future.
Can you develop nastiness? Have you seen that? Is that a character trait?
I mean, I think within reason. I think. Don't get me wrong. He's a competitor. I mean, he wants to. It's just. I think he can be a really physical player. I think he can learn to play even more physical for consistent stretches. But the one thing about Ike is man, he wants to be so good. So he's so coachable, and he's going to take everything that you say, and he's going to try to apply it. And so I think he's got a much bigger ceiling, and we're going to continue to see that moving forward.
One of the things you said both with us in the post game and then I know in the media availability after the game was you didn't think you played with enough force. Take us through what you mean by that.
I think, there's plays, basketball is physical. And I'll give you an example. You're on defense and you're trying to fight through a screen. And obviously, the key is you don't want to run into the screen. But also, you're going to get hit by the screen. There's a difference. And sometimes you got to be able to embrace that. Man, that guy's going to move. He's going to hit me. And I'm either going to embrace that and bust through it, or I'm just going to kind of avoid contact, or I'm going to lay on the screen. Guy's going to drive to the basket, and I'm trying to beat him to a spot, and we call it stoning a drive. I'm either going to take him on, with my chest and try to win that 50-50 space and try to make it difficult, or I'm going to kind of give a little bit of ground and sort of play soft, maybe trying not to foul too much. A block out, how much force am I going to bring to that? I'm on offense. It's the same thing. How hard am I going to cut when somebody tries to kind of ride me off a cut or fight for position? I beat a guy. I've got a guy beat and I got my shoulder on him. Am I going to take that space, or is the defender going to take that space? It's all little things like that, meeting passes and just playing with force and an edge. And those are all things that maybe don't show up in a stat sheet, but that's the separator. And we played a lot. I mean, it was pretty cool to see Tom Izzo say that, hey, we got every loose ball in that game. That doesn't happen against Michigan State. And I love Coach Izzo, but I'm really glad it bothered him.
No doubt, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to beat those guys, you got to beat them at their own game often.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is. You got to embrace the game. They're all like that, know. And I told the team before, I said, listen, this team plays a lot like Michigan State. They're one of the best rebounding teams. They pride themselves on playing hard and physicality, and we just didn't meet it the same way we did against Michigan State.
Yeah, and that Maryland team too. They played hard, but and it's not sneaky. They were just they're athletic. That's an athletic. They have a kid who was committed to UConn. They have a couple of McDonald's All-Americans on that team. I mean, they've got some skill and some athleticism.
Yeah, I mentioned to Guardsy before. I had a coach a couple months ago say, "Hey, coach, I mean, you're like, it's like playing in the NBA in the Big Ten, meaning that there are teams that aren't winning but everybody's got talent at this level. There's nobody that's playing, in the Big Ten that doesn't have talented players. Michigan State, like you just mentioned, Maryland, they've got talented players, and they're just a team, and they're well coached. So even though it hasn't gone their way, Buzz is going to have them continuing to compete to the finish line this year.
Yeah, I thought that was for them. Again, sometimes it's hard with your opponent, and it stinks to lose. Sometimes you also got to. For what they've been through this season, for them to play like that, I mean, they were tough. They were hard-nosed. They did not wilt at all. That was, and sometimes you just got to say that was a good effort by the other team.
Their coach's been around the block a little bit, too.
Yeah, exactly. 11 NCAAs, over the course of his time. All right, let's take a break. We will have the long contested 2 from Justin Gard that returns. We also want to invite you to visit the University of Minnesota bookstore for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages, from the latest styles to timeless favorites. It's your one-stop shop, and every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. You can shop in-store here on campus or online, bookstores.umn.edu. For those here in person, we will give away a $25 gift card later on in the show, and that's a benefit of coming out and seeing us in person. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield. Welcome back. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings. Glad you're with us today. I'm Mike Grimm, along with Justin Gard and the head coach Niko Medved. Buffalo Wild Wings, proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness. Good to have JG back with us. Before we get into the long contested 2, the Gopher women are on a nice little run, 6 in a row, and it's all probably due to the radio guy.
Yeah, I was integral. Yeah, I think a lot of people have noted my contributions to the whole thing. They beat Iowa on the road for the first time since 2007. That was on Thursday night. That was awesome. It was good to put it on them for they were up 20 in the fourth quarter, and so that was fun. And then they hung on. You were talking about finding ways to grind it out. After shooting 60% from the floor on Thursday, they missed their first 10 shots against Rutgers, because that's basketball sometimes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And figured out a way to grease one out in Piscataway and make it home in time for the Super Bowl. So Nebraska on Thursday night back at the barn.
$10 tickets?
$10 tickets. They followed your lead. They beat a top 10 team, gophersports.com, for $10 tickets, not just for Nebraska, but for the rest of the home schedule, which includes 2 teams ranked in the top 15, Michigan State and Ohio State. So
Thursday next up for Gopher women. Yeah,
it was good. It was fun.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that's why I was gone. I know I was dramatically and devastatingly missed.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I know that gives you an extra week of prep on this.
I've got so many questions. Yeah, so many. Are you a superstitious guy, first of all? I'm a little worried about the direction I'm going to go.
Well, I know it's not going to change the direction, so
you're probably right. Yeah,
but I'm not a really superstitious guy, but everybody has superstitions.
We did a long contested 2 in your absence a few weeks ago on just his superstition, whether it is or isn't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I missed it. I'll have to podcast.
Yeah. Go back and listen.
I should be listening live. So you're about to head out to the Pacific Northwest. It's a road trip we'll talk about, but I think I've asked every coach that has ever done this show, like, if you're in this long enough and you've been in it long enough, you have to have a couple of nightmarish travel stories where the plane doesn't show up, or the bus breaks down, or the radio guy's post game's going too long, and you're just trying to get to the airport after a tough loss. Off the top of your head, or maybe even recruiting, like a rental car was supposed to be there, it's not, or the head coach didn't make it somewhere,
or you didn't fill it up,
or you didn't fill up the rental car and the Star Tribune write a story about it. Yeah. There's a lot of different things. What do we know? What can you tell us about any travel nightmares? Do any come to mind?
I mean, everyone has been through it. Has had times where the plane breaks down and you're not there till 2 or 3 in the morning, or maybe you don't even get there the day of. People have had all that stuff happen. What's funny is sometimes in those situations you end up playing well.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know one that stands out. My staff still laughs about with me at Colorado State. We had the AAU tournament in Wichita, Kansas, and for whatever reason, I came and they're supposed to get a rental car, and there was none left, and so they got me one, and I ended up in one of those. You remember what the Dukes of Hazzard? What was the car they had? The General
Charger.
It was like Dodge Charger. I ended up with this back wheel drive, old Dodge Charger or whatever, and I remember pulling up to this tournament in Wichita, and it was. I mean, guys, I'm not 10. It was probably 104. It was one of those just nasty humidity, and you had to walk so far. Jim, we got there. It was a little bit late. We get there, and there was no parking left, so we had to park in the sand pit. It ended up being the outdoor volleyball sand pits. So I go out there, we go to the game, go inside. There's no self-service in there. And one of those, you walk in and you sweated through all your clothes. By the time you get in, you watch him, you go and you're trying to leave. Well, we get out of there and it's still just smoldering hot. And you try to start your car and you can't get out and you're hitting the gas reverse and there's sand just freaking going like you're digging a hole. I'm out there like this and I going back and like, oh my God, I can't get out. Pretty soon we've got a group of like 3 or 4 people trying to push this car, hitting on the gas. I got sand spitting up in my face. I'm full of this or whatever. And I mean, the coaches are just laughing, their ass off at me or whatever. Goodness. But we couldn't we had to end up getting the thing towed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, out of the sand pit, you know what I mean, in there. And I didn't have a hotel yet and I didn't have any clothes. It was just, not that that's a great story, but for whatever reason, that one like stands out.
Yeah.
That there's,
I would say Bo and Luke would not have had the car get stuck.
Yeah,
Is that a Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah, well, I'm not
Oh,
wow.
We just had to assume.
I tell you what, I remember as an assistant, and up here too, we had lost and we were playing, and I was actually coming here to watch the state tournament, and then in the Wisconsin to watch the state tournament. I remember I took a plane and I had my bag checked or whatever. I think I was coming from Madison here, and it was on one of those little things. So I carry on baggage. You're on the phone like crazy. The plane lands, turn on my phone. I'm back on the phone. I'm in the back of the plane waiting to get off. I get to the rental car thing. I'm driving, and all of a sudden I don't realize until that night I came back, I left my luggage on the plane.
Yeah.
I was just so like right in the thing, and all of a sudden I didn't get, not until I got back to I'm like, oh my God, I never even realized I left my luggage on the plane. And so I didn't have any luggage for like 2 days. It was not good.
That's part of the reason, even if it's a short flight, I'll check my bag because I'm worried about the same thing.
Really? That you're just
because I don't have that, I'm going to forget it. And
lose focus.
Obviously, my clothes are so important to me. I dress so nice all the time. Well, I'm like, man, because sometimes if I bring it, sometimes I'll just forget it because I'm so used to not having it.
I've left one before in the airport. Like you have it with you, and then you just get caught up in phone calls and doing whatever, and you're bored in the plane, or you look around, and it's like, oh my God. Now, that doesn't happen as much anymore because somebody will, they see you right away, they leave it back. But back in those days, it didn't matter. It's like, oh my God, I left that thing 3 concourses back, you know what I mean, at one of the food courts or whatever, So
back to the first story. Number one, did you get the player you were recruiting in Wichita that day? Do you remember if that?
It was an AAU tournament. I don't even remember. There's such a blur. As there's like, you try to go to like 6 of them in a weekend, so you can't even keep track of what's where or who's where.
Was the cell phone video a thing then? Because that would have been a hell of a video.
No, it really wasn't as good. But I still gave my ops person at the time. It's like, hey, I'm not some picky guy or whatever, but I'd prefer not to have the Dodge Charger. Yeah.
See, I'm the other way. I'd go in. There could be all kinds of great SUVs. If there's a Dodge Charger,
you're going with it now.
You remember when I ended up with one? I think it was during COVID, Grimmer.
Yeah, you had one.
I pulled up to Illinois, and someone left a note. Was it you? It said, nice car.
I think I might have.
Because I'm definitely not a Dodge Charger guy.
For the record, I've got nothing against Dodge Charger.
Michelle Train and I went cruising in Terre Haute, Indiana a couple years ago in my rental car.
Can't you
Dodge
just
Charger.
see Grim with the Dodge Charger playing like some Aerosmith or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can just see that.
And Terre Haute is a great cruise in town.
Yeah,
if you've never cruised in Terre Haute, you just never know.
Nothing better.
Boy.
So did any coaches help you, or was it just like fans?
It was like fans, I think, who kind of felt sorry for me, and I was so pissed off. I'm just and I've got sand everywhere. I can't get the car out, and a couple people are trying to help me, and the harder we push and the more you hit the gas, the deeper you did, the more sand's flying up everywhere. It was a mess.
So who's this could be any coach that you've worked with, for, against. Who's the head coach most likely to help you in that situation if they come walking by? And who might just walk by and say, good luck, Niko?
Oh, man, a lot of them would just say good luck or laugh.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, a lot of them would. Well, I'd tell you one other story that was funny. I think it was that same road trip or whatever. I don't remember where we drove. There was another trip, and I remember I parked, had the same car because I drove it to the next event. I'm trying to remember. It might even been Kansas City.
Fished it out.
Whatever, Kansas City. And I drove and had to park, and I'm walking down, and you got to walk a long ways, and there's this back gym where the coach's entrance is. And next thing you know, you see this big Escalade just drive up right to the entrance, right? And you're like, God, who is that? Yeah. No, it was Patrick Ewing.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
head coach at Georgetown.
Yeah,
whatever.
Georgetown.
And he gets out of the car, whatever, and I'm like, all right, that's the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, there we go.
Whatever. Like, he still had the car service, chauffeur, like taking him right to the front of the door, and the rest of us had to grind, you know?
Dodge Charger.
Dodge Charger walking
life.
half a mile to the game.
I see an endorsement deal and maybe some NIL stuff happening out of this conversation right now.
That'd be great.
All right, so in terms of a travel nightmare, I ask you to rate yourself a lot, make you be self-aware. As the guy who sits in the front of the bus and have to be told that, hey, the plane's delayed or the bus isn't here or the food's not here, how would you grade yourself on handling that situation? Like, are you approachable? Do you have to wait for the right moment? How do you handle bad news?
I think I handle it really well, actually. I think people would tell you that I handle bad news or well. I have pretty good perspective with all that stuff. You know what I mean? We got it pretty good here. So it's not all bad. Now, if it was something that we could have controlled, that's different, right? If there's something that we could have controlled and we just didn't plan very well, that's different. But listen, it's out of your control. Big deal. Flight delay. Oh God, we have to eat an hour later. Oh no, boy, that's tough.
That's good perspective.
I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like, and it's all about how you react to those kind of things. And if you do that, your team buys into that too.
For sure.
So, no, I think I give myself a pretty good grade with that stuff.
And if it's a delay, it's just an hour you weren't expecting. You've got time right there to get more stuff done.
There you go. Watch a little bit more film, spend a little bit more time talking to somebody or whatever. Yeah.
Silver linings.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go, Grim.
All right, that was an outstanding long contested too. I just wish there was video of that sand.
I'm really
glad.
Amazing. I'm really glad there wasn't video when I was in college or those early days.
Yeah, no good.
Like, it would have been no good.
Yeah, no good.
I would have had my job maybe. I'm joking, but I'm joking.
We'll take a break. We'll wrap it up. When we come back, we'll preview the trip coming up starting on Friday out to Washington and Oregon. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.
Gopher fans know the power of a great team. mHealth Fairview University of Minnesota Medical Center is ranked the #1 hospital in the Twin Cities by U.S. News and World Report. This is more than an award. It's a reflection of our team of doctors, nurses, and staff who deliver world-class care so you can be at the top of your game. As the official healthcare provider of Gopher Athletics, mHealth Fairview is proud to serve people across the state.
Midland Hills Country Club is well known as one of the finest golf clubs in the Twin Cities. The club has completely renovated its classic Seth Rayner designed course back to its original design. Enjoy a meticulously maintained course in a newly renovated ballroom and patio accommodating up to 300 guests in smaller breakout rooms, along with an executive boardroom overlooking the beautiful course. The club offers a great golf experience in a comfortable social atmosphere and is conveniently located just 10 minutes from either downtown. Visit MidlandHillsCC.org.
You can guarantee yourself a Minnesota Maroon and Gold win when you sell your business with True North Mergers and Acquisitions. True North M&A is a local alumni-owned company and a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics. True North M&A provides brokerage services to small businesses as well as mergers and acquisition services to companies up to $250 million in revenue. Are you thinking about selling? True North M&A helps you maximize your life's work. Visit TNMA.com for a confidential conversation. Minnesota's largest seller of companies. That's TNMA.com.
Dear Winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's website, says at 10/20/25.
Jared Wells, he's our on-site engineer. Michael Tackett is our in-studio producer. Joe Deciman with us, and Michelle Train-Traversy helping put the show together today. We want to thank them for all of their help. Before we get into Washington and Oregon, you mentioned today off for the players, yesterday off. Really kind of the last recharge, so to speak, before you hit this final stretch. How important are days off at this time of the year?
Well, I think they're great. I think they're great for everybody. It's physically, but also emotionally, too. I think just to kind of get away for a second and recharge. Obviously, with our numbers, it's critical. But even if we had depth, I may have considered doing the same thing. It's kind of the last stretch, right? We get these couple of days off, and then, boy, the stretch run's going to hit fast. So, yeah, we had Monday and Tuesday off, and we'll get back to work here tomorrow.
And what do you see from Washington?
I know Coach Sprinkle obviously coached against him in the Mountain West when he was at Utah State. They've got a talented crew. They're big, physical. The young German kid they had is one of the best players in the conference. He's really, really good. Zoom Diallo's a really good guard. We call him Big Frank. Frank Kepnang. He seems like he's been there 1,000 years. We played against him at Washington when I was there twice. At Colorado State, and so he's still there. He's a big athletic shot blocker, and hey, they're right with us in the standings. They've been right there in some of these games too. They played one of the tougher schedules in the Big Ten, but you know how it is. It's going to be hard to win anywhere on the road.
What's unique about this trip? It's everybody kind of points to it as you're going out to the Pacific Northwest. Everybody knows, okay, you're going to be on the road for a while. It's not just popping over to Iowa City or Madison.
I think that is the unique part of it. Usually we're just in and out, right? You charter in, you're out right after the game. So get to be on the road for 5 days. I think that's unique. It's kind of like an NBA, West Coast swing. I think there's opportunities in that, for your guys to spend more time together. For me personally, last time I was in Seattle was kind of an interesting time in my life.
What happened there?
Yeah, we're in the NCAA tournament in Seattle out there, and obviously we had this job going on. We were, just a breath away from going to the Sweet 16, and so it'll be interesting to be back out in that city.
And then you mentioned the nature of the trip. You stay in Seattle, and then it's off to Oregon. And I know you're dialed in on the Huskies right now, but Oregon, it looks like they were picked to be a really good team, and then they had injuries like others, and it looks like they're maybe getting healthy just in time to see the Golden Gophers.
Isn't that funny how that works? So, boy, I thought they had Purdue beat at Purdue.
Looked like they did.
But they've got Nate Biddle back, who was a preseason All-League, big kid, so he's finally back, and obviously he's such a difference maker for their team, and so he'll be back, and Dana Altman always finds a way to get the most out of his team, so they're a different club than they were a couple weeks ago.
I always ask you this, maybe you get annoyed by it because I don't know the answers.
I never get annoyed with you.
Sure you don't. You don't. Danny Sprinkle and Dana Altman, through the course of whether you're in Topeka when it's 105, recruiting, seeing guys, do you how well do you know either of those guys?
Well, I got to know Danny again, he was a young guy, coming up in the business, so out west, so I'm familiar with him. Obviously coached against him, in the Mountain West, so familiar with him and what he does. Dana's just a guy I've admired forever, and if you know the story, some of the offensive stuff we do when I was an assistant and watching his Creighton teams play when they had Kyle Korver and kind of that system that they ran was something I thought this is really, really cool, and ever get an opportunity, especially at I was at a place like Furman, which was a smaller version of like a Creighton, that could be successful. So watching his teams play when I was a young aspiring coach was actually something that really kind of inspired me on offense. And he's a Hall of Fame level guy. If you follow his career, how many games he's won, and he always finds a way, like you said, to get the most out of his teams.
All right, in our final couple minutes, for people that tuned in on Sunday and saw that your players' jerseys had last names that were not their own, remind people what that was all about on Sunday.
Yeah, Ski-U-Mah Strong. It's an event initiative we took from Colorado State. We partnered with the Masonic Children's Hospital here, and it's an opportunity. We have 15, patients who are fighting, a battle a lot bigger than we're fighting here when we're playing Maryland or Oregon or whoever. And every one of those players, gets to sponsor a child and their family, and we get an opportunity, obviously, to learn about their stories. Personally, they get to learn about us. They come over and spend time with us at practice and really try to develop a personal connection. They were obviously all at the game. We did a really nice event before the game for them, and then after the game too, they get jerseys. We take pictures with them, and it's just really a cool way for us to hopefully help have an impact in our local community. And like I always tell our players and them, the impact it has on us is even bigger. And so I know in Colorado a lot of these families and people really develop kind of lifelong relationships with some of our guys, and so it's our first year doing it. And I thought what was really interesting about it too is really hard loss on Sunday, but every one of those players after the game went up there and spent probably 45 minutes or more with every one of those families and kids even after that. And that's what it's about. So much bigger than a win or a loss. And just to hopefully see the smiles on their faces and all that was really, really cool. So that's the first year of that initiative, and hopefully one our community is going to continue to enjoy.
Do the jerseys then go to the kids?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even keep track of everything that they do get, that way. But the biggest thing is it's just having that connection, that they have, with us, and our players do such a good job of that too. And again, what you realize is they get more, just as much out of it than the patients do and their families.
We were on the air when those guys came back out, and those families were just, it's a tough loss, like you say, but man, those families, you could just tell they were taking pictures, getting, basketballs autographed, all kinds of stuff. So
cool
puts in
stuff.
perspective.
Yeah,
right?
cool stuff.
All right, very good. We will chat with you on Saturday night in Seattle.
Sounds good. See you there. Go Gophers.
There he is, Niko Medved, along with Justin Gard. I'm Mike Grimm. Thanks for joining us. This has been Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.